Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
So, Doom: The Dark Ages just got announced at Summer Games Fest, and it really got me thinking about the series again. Namely 2016's Doom, and how it never really gets the love it deserves anymore. It's sort of a running sentiment I've been seeing on the internet lately, that Eternal makes Doom 16 obsolete and outclasses it in almost every way. And honestly, I think that's a pretty unfair assessment. It was a title that absolutely revolutionized shooters by taking it back to its roots, back to a classic style that was missed by, well, everyone. Don't believe me? Well, just look at all these boomer shooters we got after 2016. Games like Dusk, Cultic, Medieval, Warhammer 40k Boltgun, Demon Pit, Bloodhound, Matchsinger, all those games in just the span of 8 years. Between 2004 and 2016, there was nothing. Half-Life came out, and the entire gaming industry just sort of collectively went. But from 2016 to 2024, ever since Doom's release, there have been a total of 147 new titles. That's crazy. With a legacy like that, how could we ever forget about Doom 2016's existence? Oh, wait, I know how. Now, this isn't a video hating on Doom Eternal. In fact, I think it's an absolutely phenomenal game as well, but it's a shame to see how it overshadows its predecessor and how Doom 2016 never really gets the love it deserves anymore. There's a lot of things that Doom 16 got right that I really want to see it carry on in the Dark Ages. So in this video, I want to go over just that. Today, we're going to discuss why Doom 2016 is still an amazing experience and one which I'd recommend anyone play today. Now, for the sake of brevity, I'm going to refer to Doom 2016 as just Doom, and its sequel as Eternal. First, let's start with Eternal. Eternal's combat is reliant on weak points and using certain guns to exploit them. For instance, you could pop an explosive shot in a cacademon's mouth for a quick stun. You can disarm a mancubus, or any demon for that matter, by sniping its gun limbs, leaving it essentially harmless. It's a great system that encourages you to use every tool in your arsenal. In fact, once you've memorized each demon's weakness, it's actually a pretty mindless and calming experience. Taking down hordes of enemies as a one-man army has never felt better. It really is the ultimate definition of a power fantasy. So how does Doom 16's combat stack up? The way I see it, both games approach combat with two entirely different philosophies. Doom Eternal is about player empowerment, while Doom 2016 is about survival. It's kind of like the night and day difference between Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4. In RE2, enemies are fewer, but are much more imposing because of Leon's own limited capabilities. In contrast, RE4 Leon's out here roundhouse kicking his way to victory. Sure, Doom might not have a fancy double dash feature or grappling hook, but I think that strangely works to its advantage. Doom's combat is very positional and is about being aware of your surroundings at all times. The bullet hell is real. From my experiences, Doom's enemies are much tankier and way more accurate than Eternal's. In Eternal, you could just run away from any incoming projectiles with a couple presses of the dash button. In Doom, you need to walk through that shit. The best arenas in Doom are more maze-like and confined because of this. You really need to use the terrain to your advantage, ducking and weaving around tight spaces, using walls as cover. Eternal's best arenas, by contrast, are more open and wide, allowing you to pull off all sorts of crazy acrobatic stunts and sick mid-air trick shots. Now, I'm not saying that either way of approaching combat is better than the other, they're just different. It's just a testament to how id Software really did create the ultimate combat sandbox, not once, but twice. Talk about capturing lightning in a bottle, or a very angry bunnyless man. Both games are mission-based. You're plopped into a level where you go from point A to point B. Now, how you get to point B is the interesting bit. One of the first things that stood out to me when replaying 2016's Doom is just how creative and varied some of its levels can be. Eternal's level structure is very straightforward and linear. Really, the only standouts to me are the Super Gore Nest and the Ark Complex. Doom, on the other hand, likes to have a lot more fun with things. Let's look at my favorite level as an example, the Foundry. The Foundry is a multi-layered labyrinth with diverging paths and some pretty impressive verticality. When you first enter the mission, you're greeted to this grand open space where you're free to go wherever you want. There are 4 gore nests here, and you're tasked to eliminate them in any order you wish. Want to head down the catwalk straight ahead of you? Well, you'll be greeted to your first encounter with the Hell Knight and this yellow key you'll need for later. Or maybe you want to head down the door on the opposite end of the catwalk. There you'll find a new weapon mod and this cool platforming puzzle to get to this random corpse's hand, if you're into that kind of stuff. Want to jump down to the platforms below? Well, you'll probably run into this armor pickup and maybe even find your first gore nest while you're at it. Perhaps you're curious what's at the very bottom, just in case there's another secret tucked away somewhere. Lava. It's just lava. This level lets the player choose where to go, and there's no wrong direction to take. Each branching path and hidden nook always rewards the player with a worthwhile collectible or a new upgrade. It makes the player feel in control of their journey and incites curiosity and exploration. It's honestly really disappointing that we didn't get to see it really evolve on this type of open level design for the sequel. This is one aspect which I really hope to see expanded on in the next game. I mean, just imagine Eternal's traversal mechanics paired with the same semi-open world design philosophy of Metro Exodus or that second mission in Halo 1. From the trailer, I really hope that the wide open areas you see in some of the arenas aren't just backdrops, but fully explorable optional pathways. I really love having this sense of freedom and control in any game I play, really. Granted, not every mission in Doom offers the same open concept as the Foundry. However, there's no shortage of fresh and unique ideas to keep the player engaged. For instance, the Argent facility is probably the closest to the Foundry in terms of openness and player freedom. Necropolis sees Doom Guy on a classic key hunt as he teleports between the hub area and his various surrounding arenas. In the Argent Energy Tower, you're scaling this huge industrial structure while battling countless demons along the way in an interesting mashup of platforming and combat. Simply put, Doom's levels are better paced and much more consistent than Eternal's. Alright, real quick. The story, shit. Both games, shit. But that's alright. These games were never really known for their stories anyways. Plot's just an excuse to pop more eyeballs, slice through some snake people, and establish the aesthetic. Sure, Doom Eternal may have flashier effects and crispier textures, but aesthetic is much deeper than just cool graphics. It's the vibes. Pure, unadulterated, blood-soaked vibes. Doom plays out like an apocalyptic horror flick. You essentially have 2 main locations, Mars and Hell, and everything is orange. This may seem a bit one note, but man does that one note hit. The interiors are dark and ominously lit. There's flesh on the walls, the demons are menacing, and my lord, the sound design. The screeches from these demons are absolutely blood-curdling, and the environmental noise is just top-notch.
He is here.
Everything about this game is just menacing and immersive. Eternal's aesthetic, on the other hand, takes a complete 180. It knows it's a video game and does not shy away from that fact. Its platforming sections have no diegetic sense to them whatsoever. They're these weird, floating, obviously video gamey platforms. Yanking out a cacademon's eye has this comical to it. Heck, you can even play Doom in Doom Guy's bedroom. It almost has a Sunday morning cartoon vibe that, honestly, I kind of respect. I like that a game like this doesn't take itself too seriously. It really just wanted to have fun with this one, and it shows. You can run around in a pink unicorn outfit for all they care. The best part about this game's aesthetic is just the sheer diversity of its locations. You'll be adventuring from a ruined, flame-scorched earth to the luscious worlds of Taurus Nabad, to the dark, decrepit pits of hell itself. Although, I can't help myself from liking Doom 16's aesthetic more. It's not that Eternal's aesthetic is bad by any means, it's just that they really knocked it out of the park the first time. For my 2 cents, I personally enjoy how Doom 2016 focuses on a singular vision and achieves that one vision better than any of Eternal's many landscapes. It also doesn't hurt to note that I'm an absolute sucker for creepy, ominous stuff. Eternal really went all in on sci-fi, which really doesn't appeal to my tastes. What makes Doom such a unique franchise is its blend between sci-fi and dark fantasy elements. Again, this is one of the aspects that make me so excited for Doom: The Dark Ages. They're really going all in on that dark fantasy side of things that I really love so much, with just the right amount of sci-fi sprinkled in. All in all, Doom 2016 is a landmark title and rightfully deserves a spot among the greats. If you're a person who jumped onto the Doom bandwagon with Eternal and never tried 16, or if you're just new to the Doom franchise altogether, I implore you to give this one a try. It's only 10 hours and not a second is wasted. It's a front-to-back thrill ride of violence and mayhem, and even 8 years later still manages to outclass many shooters releasing today. I can't wait to see how the Dark Ages continues this trend. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you made it this far, why don't you drop a comment discussing your own experiences with the franchise, and maybe what you wish to see in Doom the Dark Ages. Anyways, thanks for indulging on my rambles, and I hope you the best.